Christian Science and faith cure the same thing? A lot of people think that they are. Hi, my name is Julie. I was born into the Christian Science church and religion, and after 40 years I went my own way. But I feel like that brought me back to a better understanding of the original teachings of the woman who, discovered that we're spiritual beings now. We only fell into a belief that we're material beings, that we're immortal identities, that the material world is thoughts. What we see are our thoughts as a spiritual being. And we got confused and we thought the thoughts were our real world. We thought that body in the mirror, the body we're looking at, was our real identity. So that's what Mary Baker Eddy discovered in 1866, and she discovered that's what the Bible was trying to tell us all along. That's what Jesus's teachings were trying to tell us, and the Bible is really the story of us waking up from this dream, and it continues on today. And she found that the unwinding from this illusion, from our false identity, this little, mistake, this, the Course in Miracles calls it the tiny mad idea. It's like the mistake of dualism. That's a lot of teachings, and that is to give up human thinking in favor of the divine knowing. It's kind of a surrender of the human will in favor of the divine will, which is your real will. You're the higher I, the great I am, divine love. God is a word to define who we really are. We are really these amazing beings. We're all one, individually and collectively. We individually and collectively see our thoughts, and that's what this material universe is. But we're eternal beings, we're immortal beings, we're infinite intelligence, infinite love, without limitation. But this material world, since it's the opposite, since it's it's this mistaken identity, everything is limited in this so-called material world, or false matrix, or illusion. And what we have to do to unwind is give up our human thinking, just is allow it, is unwind. And we do that by asking our true self, divine mind, God, the great I am, how am I caught up in this material dream? How am I caught up in my false identity? And a lot of things come up, like, opinions and judgments and values and morals and beliefs and things you trust in. And you're looking to everyone else, you're looking around the world and you're saying, tell me how to believe about things. Tell me what to do. Tell me the best way to do this and the best way to do that. Is so we're so used to looking to this false matrix for answers that we have to get back. We're being taught to get back to listen to our true selves, the divine mind, as for the answers. So the question is, Christian Science, a faith cure? No. No, because faith cure depends on human thinking. It says within the matrix, human thinking makes things better. A lot of, new thought, manifesting, power positive thinking, faith cure, quimbyism, all kinds of, religions and spiritual studies and just things. They kind of do to some degree understand that the power of the mind is making our universe. But they think, well, that's, our thinking as immortals, as an immortal identity, is creating our universe. And so we can think differently and create differently. We can, we can create wealth. We can cure disease. That's what faith cure would be. We can, as a mortal body, as a human being, we can change our world by changing our thinking. And that's, in Christian Science, actually, that's the first step where you do have to start seeing things differently. And the human mind is used to reason out of its current process. Like the human mind is used in the beginning. It's like the beginning baby steps of Christian Science, where we're like learning to think differently. We're learning that if we're thinking negatively all the time, it's going to have a negative impact. If we believe that there are certain outcomes that are just undeniably going to be the outcome of anything, if you have a parent who has this disease, there's a high percentage of possibility that you're going to get that disease. And so there's a lot of beliefs in the human mind that in the baby steps of Christian Science, we do start, using the human mind to reason out of these. And you can read Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, which is this textbook of Christian Science, that in the Bible are textbooks. And they do kind of what the purpose of Christian Science is to do is to get you thinking. The purposes of the book is to get you thinking differently, and to kind of start you in that direction where the mortal thinking is the human thinking is thinking differently. It's like, okay, I think, oh, this is different, that's different, this is different. But that's kindergarten, and you do that for a while, and then it's like the landing gear of an airplane. When the airplane's taking off, it needs the wheels to take off. But once it's got into the air, the wheels go up. And if the wheels were left down, the airplane couldn't, it would be working against the flight of the airplane. So the wheels go up into the airplane. And so that the base jump kind of Christian Science is like starting to use the human mind to treat. Even in Christian Science, we're taught treatments that kind of get us into the altitude of thought of healing, because Christian Science, is based on, you can see disease healed. We call it healing disease, but it's a witnessing of the belief, the understanding from the higher altitude. So at a certain point, you give up the human thinking, you give up the human treating, you give up the human reasoning, the opinions, the judgments, and you do this all through the help of the divine mind, which is your great I am, which is your true self. That true self is always working for you, working with you, trying to, wake you up from the dream. And so you learn to resort to that true self more and more and more. And that true self is a quietness. It's a stillness. It's a place where you more and more go, where there is no human gyrations and, oh no, I'm scared of this, and I'm worried about that, and I'm thinking about this, and how am I going to figure this out? It's a place where you get where it's like just this knowingness. And that's when the divine mind takes over. That's when the airplane takes flight, and you're still hearing, and listening to what you need to do in your life. But it's correcting your course for you. It's changing things around for you. You're seeing things in your world change. You're seeing diseases disappear, because the divine mind isn't confused. Disease, war, famine, hate, prejudice, misogyny, crime, poverty, that's all occurring in the false matrix. And it's occurring because we're out of alignment with our true self. We had this little fall of thinking, oh, I'm this identity. And so the identities have to fight for everything and have to figure everything out on their own. It's a mess. And, and there's massive confusion and massive chaos. It's the mortal illusion. It's the Adam dream. It's what the allegory of Adam and Eve is meant to be telling us. This is what happened. It's not like God did this to you. It's a momentary, it's temporary, it's not permanent, it's not real, but it's a state of mind of thinking, believing something's real that isn't. And so then Christian Science teaches that then you take off into these altitudes of thought where the world around you is no longer governing you, telling you, making you think a certain way, making you act a certain way. You're not looking to it for answers. You're living in this state of peace and harmony and knowing, which Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. He said the kingdom of heaven is within. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He's like, change your mind. Repent means change your mind. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's right here, right now. It's a place of divine being where, the all-knowing mind that you really are is in control. And you start to see changes in your life. Those changes in your life aren't coming because the mortal's thinking these changes into effect. They're coming because that's your natural state of being. They were covered over before through all the mortal thinking, through the willpower, through the gyrations. And in Christian Science and treatments, we're starting to get out of it. A lot of Christian Scientists just continue treatments on. Their airplane never takes off because they just continue on with these mortal treatments, and they don't realize, well, that's still using the power of positive thinking, the power of mortal mind. It's still using new thought. It's still using, faith cure. So they haven't, and a lot of teachers, Christian Science and movement there's a lot of false teachings, a lot of teachers that are, teaching you that treatment is the be all and end all, and they're using that to heal. So they're using the power of mortal mind to heal. Like they're using faith cure or power of positive thinking to cure people. And in the beginning, we can do that, but you want to take off as soon as you can, because the atmosphere, once you've taken off from the ground, is so much better. It's so much freer. It's so much clearer. And other people around you, when they come into your atmosphere of thought, when you're at that point, their thoughts start to change, because they're like, wow, I feel good around you, or there's a peace, or sometimes they don't even notice it, but their thoughts start to change about things, and then their world starts to change because their thoughts are changing, and then it goes out. The more people, the more of us are waking up from this illusion, it spreads and it spreads, and it will eventually bring us all to the point where we understand right here, right now, there is a peace, there is a perfection of being, and the material universe has been a lie the whole time, and it's been a false matrix, and it's been a false identity. And when we give that up, it's just this greatest freedom. We are unlimited beings, eternal, immortal, and we're waking up to that. And that's what Christian Science is. Faith cure and all those other new thought, they use the power of the human mind to do stuff. Christian Science starts with understanding what the human mind is capable of and why it's the one causing all the problems, and then it leaves that human mind behind and takes off once it allows the divine mind to take charge and take control. So I hope that helps in answering that question.